has 3 more crossings that could also use improvement. Another child was recently hit by a car at the Stream School in Hallsville. We must put a priority on protecting the most vulnerable road users from the dangers of increased traffic. Finally, I'll leave you with a Akitoaki. Tufitia te hopo, mairangatia te angitu, or feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah, be brave to make real change. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I just have a couple of words to add. When Council and the Transport Agency proceeded with the Northern Arterial around St. Albans, we're concerned about the influx of traffic that additional land development enabled by that motorway would unlock. And the result was the Downstream Effects Master Plan, the DEM. This multi-year project sought to improve safety for people who live around the areas of our city affected by the new motorway. We have no such thing, even though we have built the Crusher Southern Motorway in the fastest growing district in New Zealand, the Selwyn District. We have thousands of houses and thousands more movements of vehicles, and they're flooding Milton Street. We need a DEM for our area to address these issues. I want to point out one more thing. SmartView presents crash data from the crash analysis system, which is police reported data. For this crash, there was no police report. So the monetized benefits and cost manual is what NZTA uses. And it suggests for every police reported crash in 50 to 70 k/h areas, there are 1.5 additional serious crashes and 4.5 minor crashes. NZTA, Via Strata has undertaken a much deeper dive in concert with Auckland Transport. And we found that these are seriously underreporting the harm that occurs. For every police report, there are 8 Ministry of Health reports where people have gone straight to the emergency room and the police were never involved, even though it happened on the road. So some of those are trips and falls, but many of them are car crashes that the police just never attended. So just a word of caution when asking staff for crash analysis system data. It seriously underestimates the amount of harm happening on our roads.
Thanks, John. That's good to know. And Greg, as well, I'm sure we'll have lots of questions, but just want to first acknowledge you and your family and the trauma that you've been through with this. And I really appreciate you coming to speak to us about it. This is the kind of thing that can allow us to make change. So yeah, just first want to thank you for coming and speaking today. Question from Tim.
Well, I don't have any for you. I think Greg and Amy so talked before, but John, it'd be good to talk with you or how to work out or how to get more accurate crash data, because we're continually told that we need to get the crash data through the police because it's got a foundation of truth, etc. But I guess for us, and you're absolutely right, look into the southeast of Christchurch, rather than having one big road, we've got a whole lot of little roads, but it's the same depth, really, isn't it? So I'm wondering if we could catch up at some stage and look at how we can process that within the City Council.
Yeah, there's something called the Sorted Study, which was an effort between Ministry of Health and Ministry of Transport to match hospital records with police records. And that's what I was referring to. We were involved in that work. So unfortunately, it's not easy. And you're 100% right that generally the transport agency is going to rely on the police data.
Yeah.
But the best we can do is actually point to the sorted research to show that for every crash, there's 8 other pedestrians who have been seriously injured.
So I'd love to catch up with you, just work out how we can try and move that forward. So thank you. Thank you.
Got any other questions? Just thinking about sort of next steps from here. So I think you raised the existing project in 2021, which I think, if I'm remembering rightly, I might be wrong about this, was an innovating streets project where the funding kind of got rug pulled for that. So, but that's by the by. This is obviously an issue that needs to be addressed either way. So I wonder if the next step is we have a bit of a site visit, potentially with traffic staff as well, Greg and John, if you're keen to come along, and just sort of talk a bit about the issues at the intersection in more detail, and we can also talk a bit about how we address this with staff. What's the right avenue for us to progress some solution?
Yeah, just to clarify, there was also a craft project. It wasn't just renovating streets.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
And one of
That's
the
right.
projects that got canned was a very nearby pedestrian signal that would have served Summerfield School as well.
Yes.
It's the route that goes, we're about to build this overbridge over Berlin Street, right?
Yeah.
It's going to go down Simeon.
Yeah.
And what does it do? It gets to Milton, and then what?
Yeah.
That's on the long-term plan.
Yeah.
We got it in and links them up.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a better memory than me, John.
Could I suggest that when we have that on-site meeting, which is really important, could we do that in the morning school hour?
Yes.
Because it's great we meet up and it's quite quiet, and the morning is more significant than the afternoon because it spreads out a wee bit. But in the morning, both children and vehicles have to be somewhere at a certain time. So just
That's a good idea. Yeah.
thank you.
And I think you mentioned before, Tim, that you'd like to see this prioritised in our board plan if possible, so we can discuss that at the meeting too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. So we can arrange, Jojo? Yeah, excellent. All right, we'll be in touch. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate your time. Yeah. Okay. So next up, we've got Derek McCulloch speaking about the Mount Pleasant Community Centre traffic management issues.
Kia ora everybody. I'm Derek McCulloch, President of the aforementioned association. I should explain that I'm just coming out of ear reconstruction surgery and I've got a lot of post-surgical gunk. So if I don't hear your questions, dial it up and say it twice.
No worries. I'll give you a signal at 1 minute to go. All right.
Right. So our association is 72 years old and we own and operate the community centre down there with about 250 members, 200 memberships, including family, and 250 volunteer hours. Our activities, there's quite a list there. I won't go through them, other than to add that we had a recently very successful Art from the Attic fundraiser, and we have set aside 2 days in August and September for Meet the Candidates meetings, which you may be interested in down the track.
Always eventful one.
The ones are always eventful.
We are, yes, no, we have an informed clientele that shows up. Our plans are to continue with covering in the front deck. We've recently got our building consent, source consent is close. Unfortunately, it's gobbled up about 15,000 of our hardy fundraising, but we're working on it. We're working with Squash to upgrade the Squash building, and we're doing for our Maori signage. But the big issue we face at the moment is around traffic management outside the community centre. If you look at the picture there, you can see, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there are yellow lines that go around the corner and stop. But that part of McCormick's Bay is where all of those coming out of Glenstray Road, Matthews Road, Salery's Ave, race down the hill to join the main road. So it's quite a high traffic area. And as you saw from the previous slide, we're a busy centre. We have about, during the summer, up to 1,000 people a week that come to the centre over 7 days. And right next to us is Kids Foods. So the people that use the centre are both young and quite elderly. And the traffic can be diabolical, especially when it's double parked. We go to the next one just to show you, that's the signage that we have. It's very small, very high, and it shows that you're not allowed to park over there for 4 hours a week on a Saturday morning, which no one can read because, as you see, when you go to park, it's parallel to where you are, and it has no effect whatsoever. So we're forced to put out traffic cones, which is both time-consuming and illegal. We don't have an STMS on our staff, so we have to do it, but it saves our customers $40 traffic fines for parking. So so when there is double parking, I think if you go to page 25 of your agenda, you'll see a Willard Street thing where the cars are very close, and it's much like that whenever we have busy days. 2 Saturdays ago, we had an art and craft market, a farmers market, a memorial, a 50th birthday party, 2 dance classes and a yoga session all on the same day. So as you can see, a lot of traffic, and it's not very good. And as you can also see, if you go back one, please, Jane, if you are running the show, thank you. You'll see that the people opposite have a lot of off-street parking, for the most part, for up to 4 cars. So it's no real issue. And we also have an arrangement with them so that when Pip's brother arrives with his big camper van, we allow him to park in the community centre car park to keep it off the street. So what we're after, basically, is traffic calming measures. The first and the easiest one would be to continue the yellow lines down to Araturo Place, so that there's not 150 metres of single lane whenever we're busy, which is very often. A speed reduction would be great. I think that would go a long way towards making it safer. And probably the most likely, but would be preferable, would be a protected crossing. Not a pedestrian crossing, but just one that allows a bit of protection getting across. So that's really what we're after. Any questions at this point before I sign off?
Thanks, Derek. That's really clear. Any questions?
Before I go, a quick thank you to you guys for supporting us through Strengthening Communities Fund. I think I should name that we have amazing support from your staff. Kathy Jarden at Properties, Harry Rolliffs, because we're next to a reserve, Josh in Finance helps us, and of course Heather here as our community liaison person. So without the support both from the electoral and the staff, we wouldn't be doing as well as we think we are.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate that. We'll pass your requests on to staff for advice.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Derek.
Yellow lines would be the easiest and simplest way to help.
Cool.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Karina, hi. You've come to speak to us about the renaming of the reserve on Pilgrim Place, Science Alive Reserve.
Yes, so we're here to talk about.
Sorry, Karina. Chris, nice to meet you, Chris. Sorry, I didn't have your name there.
So I'd like to introduce you to our new convener. He's only been here for a week now, isn't it? Yep. As our union's category convener. Yeah,
Welcome,
James
Chris.
from PPTA.
Howdy.
And I'm Karina from Ito. So in the early 1990s, a group of unions, led by the Rail and Maritime Union, worked with Christchurch City Council to erect a memorial to the workers that had lost their lives in Canterbury. The site was chosen as it was the old shunting yards, and members of the RMTU had lost their lives while working at the yards. At the time, the Science Alive Centre was housed in the old railway buildings, and the reserve behind the old railway building, where the monument was placed, was named the Science Alive Reserve. The Workers' Memorial Stone was designed to be a simple yet poignant structure, conveying the gravity of its purpose without unnecessary embellishments. The stone itself serves as a stark reminder, as well as a powerful testament of the enduring physicality of labour and the human cost that often accompanies it. Its history is not about tragedy, it's also about resilience, advocacy, and the unwavering commitment to ensuring that no worker's life is lost in vain. The stone serves as both a place of mourning and a call to action, reminding society of the need to uphold the values of workplace safety, equity, and dignity. It is a legacy of respect, remembrance, and hope for a safer future. Every year, rain or shine on Workers' Memorial Day, 28th of April, people gather around the memorial to reflect on this legacy and remember those workers who have lost their lives. However, the Workers' Memorial Day, one of the reflections that was the name of the reserve, no longer has any relevance the service Science Alive, it no longer have any relevance to the surrounding area or communities that use it. After devastating earthquakes of 2010 and 2011, the old railway building was no longer safe and Science Alive was forced to move out. There is no longer a Science Alive centre in Christchurch, and Science Alive is now a nationwide online-only training centre. The Canterbury Union would like to see the reserve renamed to reflect the history and significance of this memorial, and to raise the awareness of what is in place within this reserve, something that the name does not highlight. We'd like to see it renamed to the Canterbury Workers Memorial Reserve. And we would also like to see Mana Whenua invited to gift a Māori name to go alongside this memorial, to reflect that many Māori workers amongst those we commemorate each year, because they who have also lost their lives through workplace tragedy.
Thank you, Karina. Thanks for that history as well. I didn't realise that the significance of that place. Any questions from the board?
It's really,
Yeah,
it's the right thing to do,
yeah. I think seeing a lot of nods. I think this week it feels like the board's genuinely in support of the idea. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So could we start the process of renaming a reserve?
I think so. We'll definitely look into the process. Yeah. Is that a question, Lee? Or?
Yeah, probably still needs to be some engagement with, because there is. I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
There probably still needs to be some pre-engagement.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure staff will do that.
Yeah. So we'll refer to staff for advice for the process by which that happens, and I'm sure that will include engagement with the community as well. But yeah, thank you for that, Karina. And
just confirm that the board is in support.
Yes.
Rename.
Yes.
The board is in support of rename.
Yeah.
We don't have the advice.
We're in support of exploring.
Requesting advice.
Yeah. Request. Yeah. Thanks.
I think it should be noted as it's unanimous for the board.
Unanimous support for requesting advice.
Red tape, you can't be.
Yeah, that's right. Kier, have you got anything? Sorry, I'm not sure if you moved or anything, but
You can move it.
No, I was just no, I have nothing to add other than really loved hearing that history, and I think it's really powerful. The physical location is a really powerful component of that, which is really cool to hear.
Cool. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. So next up, we've got Paula Hickey and Nikki Sullivan to speak about the Green Street water pipes.
Apologies for this having my own personal crisis. I can't come and talk about this.
Oh no, okay.
So I'm Julie Young, this is Nikki Sullivan. We are from the Green Street Residents Working Group that's been put together since our street meeting, which Sarah came along to. So please can you indicate for new water pipes as soon as possible? We had 3 water pipes burst in 3 days. The 3rd, 4th and 5th. We had no water for many hours each of those days, and we didn't even have time to fill up our emergency supplies with kind of wait until you get safe water before you fill them up again. We didn't even get that refilled with the next one came. So we've had 8 times in the last 12 months, plus our street water gets stopped at Bishopsdale, which is adjacent to us. If they have problems, Bishopsdale, if they have problems, then our water gets stopped as well. So we've had 11 and 12 months and we're done. I can flip back a little bit. After those, the August, September, December ones, I was like, all right, after the next one, I'm going to do something about it because, getting towards Christmas is really busy. Now the next one. So we desperately need fixing. We've got 1944 asbestos pipes. Because they're so damaged, whenever one repair is done, it sets off another problem further down. And the maintenance crew told us it's highly likely to happen again in the coming months and weeks. So we're, like my house, we have water and hand sanitizer at every single water place ready to go. And we suggested the residents do that as well. They have been, the water care crew has been informing the City Council that a long-term solution is needed. But yes, I hope it. So we need water. It's a basic human right. It's a necessity. We pay decent rates, is what lots of our street residents are saying. It's like, so why can't we just have water? And we think it's fiscally irresponsible to keep patching up all the pipes and not fixing it properly. We can't plan our lives. Just on the 3rd, it's like, yes, I can do my washing. And sure enough, I didn't. Can't make dinner. I just have water over to Nikki so they could make dinner. So yeah, if our pipes are really bad, what's going to happen if there's another earthquake? Surely new pipes would cope better. So we're just kind of going, what the heck's going to happen on the next one? What if there was an earthquake? How bad is it going to get? Next slide, please. Gotcha.
So impacts, we have had mums changing nappies and not able to wash their hands because suddenly there's no water because it happens so suddenly and we don't necessarily get any indication. I had COVID, I was desperate to shower, I couldn't. That wasn't fun. We have a neighbour who had to go and use the bathroom in one of the malls because she couldn't shower before she went to work and she felt embarrassed that people were looking at her that she was trying to wash in a sink. And also she often she had to go and take her family to live with friends for a while because they didn't have any water and they just can't cope with young children. We have a few paraplegic and quite a few elderly residents in Grange Street and quite a few as well. Teenagers, you know how they are shower hogs. If they don't want to, if they can't shower, they can't look their best, they may not want to go to school, that's been an issue. Feeling unsure about the safety of the water. I guess with the asbestos that's being explained, that's safety, but that's concern for some of our residents as well. Also, of course, we don't have enough water. Sometimes we run out or we haven't filled up or it's not prepared, which I think we practice, we should know better, but that does happen. One of our residents had no internet because a cable got accidentally cut, so they had no internet for up to 3 weeks as well. And someone else, of course, up there had to get a plumber in for their hot water cylinder after 3 breaks in 3 days. And it was only a couple of years old, and I can tell you they were not happy when we had our meeting, our street meeting. So as you can see, there's a lot of impacts and it's ongoing and we don't know when it's going to happen. And this is the issue, that we can't live a normal life. We can't go on our day-to-day normal lives, even planning to have people over. You know, you need a running toilet if you don't have your friends with the dinner, don't you? So just day-to-day lives, it's really impacting a lot of members of our street. A lot of people turned up to our meeting, more than we expected. So people are concerned, people are upset, and I feel something needs to be done about this. Thank you.
So we had a residents meeting, Sarah came along to it. We had 27 people turn up from our street and I accidentally put it on Anzac weekend so that we had at least 12 apologies. So there's a lot of people that are really keen to get this done. So we set up a working group. There's 5 of us on the working group to try and push this through. So yeah, please can you help us? What else can we do? We have emailed the mayor, what you got back to us. We put in a formal complaint to council, we put in emails to council, and yeah, we're asking for you to advocate on our behalf. Is there anything else we can be doing? The next one, please. The mayor's response, the pipes are old and fragile and staff agree that permanent solution is needed. Currently that work is not scheduled to occur until 2027, but the team is looking into what they can do to bring it forward. So that's what we've got back from the mayor's office. Next one, please. Yes, please can you advocate for us? Life's hard when we just keep not having water. Many people are impacted. It is a simple necessity and a human right. We're one of the two worst streets in Christchurch according to water, simply clear water. And we have payout rates, so we should have water. We need to wipe water pipes as soon as possible. One thing I need to add, just as we were literally about to leave this afternoon, there was 2 men out in vests checking out the trees, and so I was like, oh, good for you, because they've had lots of dodgy things happening. The dates are like, oh, we're checking the trees because you're getting new water pipes. Like, oh, are we? Who told you that? And when's that happening? So apparently the ways we've tried making are making some difference.
Okay.
But yeah, so now just we can go and just cruise into the next one. Was there questions on that?
Sure. I think is it both?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, we are also asking, please can you recommence the Grange Street renewal? So it can be completed soon after the water pipes get replaced. The sewage pipes probably need fixing too. So your community board approved the Grange Street renewal on the 30th of July 2010. It was to be completed in the 2011-2012 financial year. It was deferred due to the earthquakes. In addition to replacing the curb and channel, key objectives were to maintain and improve safety for all users and to ensure that additional assets such as signage, footpaths and drainage were upgraded to current standards. Gutters, this is what they look like. So the 2010 plan was to replace the existing curb and dish channel and ensure adequate drainage is provided. So you'll see there are lots of broken ones ridiculously narrow ones. Unfortunately, some of the visitors have landed in the really deep gutter. I'm hoping my son trying to learn to drive is not going to do it. Lots of them are broken, lots of them are too small. Which photos, those photos I went and took, that was after the one night of rain a few weeks ago, and that was, I believe that container had been through just after our third break. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna take photos of what it looks like after one night's rain. So that was one night. Then the next one, this was after the recent storm, so it's way worse after the recent storm. The water goes over the bridges, not under the bridges, in lots of places. Next one, please. Yeah, more photos of that, and just know Bishopsworth Street, which affects us, is like that too. Like, I didn't take photos of them, I was literally on the way to the emergency department. But they had at least a metre wide, their whole road on both sides, and that all affects into our street as well. Next slide, please. Parking, so the 2010 plan was to have 9 metres road width. This allows for parallel parking on both sides of the carriageway. We would love a width like Mackenzie Ave. Sarah suggested we go around and have a look. Yeah, like that one. That's good, isn't it? We have lots of back sections needing lots of parking, street parking. So yeah, just carry on. The next one, you'll see what we carry on. Our ugly street looks like this. It's just got holes, and this is the beginning of it. Heaps of holes, heaps of scars. You've got to park carefully. There's one there that is my house that I literally had to get parking. Go, oh no, I've got to go another metre forward so I can actually get out of my vehicle. Go to the next one, please. Yeah, there's just more of them. That's what our whole street looks like. It's just ugly. Trees, the 2010 posted replacement of existing trees that are in poor condition. In summary to the residents, of all the paperwork sent out, it said the trees were in poor condition because of silverleaf and root deformities. The consultation would need to be redone, please. Some residents would prefer native evergreen trees that don't block the gutters in autumn, and trees that feed the fantails that have just come to live in our street. We love that. And that photo on the right, you can't see all the wording, but it says we don't want it like Horford Street, because that's what it currently looks like, as people just sweeping it up. We don't want that on our street, thanks. Next slide, please. This is our street lighting. The 2010 plan was to include upgrading street lighting to current council standards. This is the safety that her niece and my son have to walk with us.
I do not feel safe about walking down the street.
And that's just to get from the number 8 bus down to our house. It's dark, it's dangerous. We're having so many break-ins. My husband's car got broken into. It cost us, like, the insurance excess plus insurance cost a ridiculous amount of money. The neighbour's garage got broken into, so now all the neighbours have got lights, cameras all around. But it's really dangerous. I bike to work, to and from work, to school, just through Hanson Park. I don't feel safe on the street. We also need consultation about that Ainsley Street corner. The 2010 plan was to reduce the car width, but it's dangerous needing widening. The garden doesn't give much room. It feels very tight if there's a vehicle waiting to turn right to Ainsley. This is me and my daughter doing a photo shoot for you on the weekend. It's only 6.8 metres wide and needs to be wider. So for her to get around, but she was in the car, she was trying to miss the garden that's there, and she was nearly clipping my van, and that was us driving it out slowly for the photo. Next one, please. And then as you come off Grange Street, spelling mistake, into Ainsley, it's really dangerous. That was a real slow version of us taking that photo. You have to wait for the cars going down Ainsley to be clear before you can turn into Ainsley.
Will clip a car. Someone is going to clip a car if they haven't already.
And we measured, it's only 5.7 metres, and it's just ridiculous. If that garden can just go away, then we would be safe.
Take a corner off the room.
Yeah.
There's currently no 30k sign. It's not going on to
No. We're all confused about this.
I'll give you maybe another 30 seconds or so.
That's right.
Yeah.
And just sowing speed, we need to sow the speed. There's, like, I sowed a car, like, waving him down doing 60 k's an hour the other day. We are now a thoroughfare because Garland's road's being reduced, so people are just zipping through ours at crazy speeds. A teenager landed in the river the other day. Possibly they would have done it on purpose anyway, but they just went straight down our street.
Dangerously fast. I thought I could hear it, and it was very late at night. I was taking my dog out. I thought that car's not going to stop. I think he's going to land in the river, and then I heard a whomp, and I raced out, and then just got across the bank. Purposely, I think, but however.
And we had another one a couple of years back as well. So we need new consultation. And on the next slide, please. We, like Sarah suggested, we look at Mackenzie Ave. We love the idea of it going through. We don't like the bright green bike path, but we do need a bike path, and we'd like it to be double like Horford Street, please.
Right, thank you for that. Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
information.
There's a lot, yeah, there is a lot there.
But there are a lot of issues.
And obviously the pipes is a little bit much more urgent and a little bit separate to the master
Just,
plan.
Fixing that, thinking,
Yeah.
please, if you can do a renewal, that it won't be too far away, so it's not just being dug up over and over, like
Yeah.
St.
Yeah.
Martin's was 3 years in a row.
Well, it sounds like it's reaching, those problems are escalating beyond just regular levels of service that council, the minimum levels of service that we'd expect from council. So, yeah. We'll refer both of those things to staff for advice. Is there any questions before we've got time for one or two questions?
For our staff, because City Care Water is saying this is the second worst in Christchurch. What are Three Waters, what are council staff saying? Because they are separate entities, although they're all owned by us. I'd like just to see the connection. What is there a disconnect or is it a connect? Sarah?
I think it'd be useful for us maybe separately to the specifics of this one to really get a really good overview of the state of the water pipes in the broader area.
Yeah.
Like, because it's they would all, the suburb was being built up at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I do think this is slightly different in a sense, because I do remember when we prioritised it in 2010 and you were the next cab off the block, and then the earthquake happened, which is so unfair. But when council's going to look at this street, everything needs to be looked at rather than just. So I think it's slightly different to other streets.
Yeah.
And the sewage pipes, we know we need to replace all our properties. All our properties got broken across the street.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Final question from Lee.
It's not really a question, it's just raising an issue. We have got in our board plan an idea for an example. I don't want to raise hopes too much, but it could fit that purpose in terms of we know we've got to do the water, deep dish gutters, streetscapes. It's everything's in there. So maybe
we could look into that.
Maybe it's one for an on-site visit.
Yeah. If you think a site visit would be helpful, would you appreciate a site visit from something you've? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Excellent. Okay.
The communication, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to know that the tree people were coming, because they're now saying, Watercare's saying the pipes should be going down the road like normal these days, and the trees are checking that it's going right beside our properties, like they're checking those trees.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense, so.
Yeah.
To be included in that.
So there's some engagement questions. There's obviously the water issues, and then there's the streets and
In my opinion, they're checking the wrong trees from what the Watercare people saying they should know.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a lot of this can be addressed in a deep dive on an on-site meeting. So we'll tee something up there, and we'll definitely invite you along to that. So thanks for coming today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Now moving into deputations, and Helen and Jenny. Jen, Webbs and Jen, and Laura. Come speak about the age-friendly. Good to see you all again. It feels like it's been a while. Yeah.
Kia ora, and good afternoon, and we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to the board. We're the current members of the Age Friendly Group. Ms. Helen, Tony, Jen Webster, Laura Gardner, and myself, Jenny Goodman. The group was formed in 2017 with the support of this board to advocate for the rights of older residents in the ward. We've been active in lobbying EPN for additional seats at bus stops, improved bus services, and the introduction of the My Way bus service, which has been such a great success in Timaru, as well as raising concerns with Canterbury Health re the poor parking facilities at the new day surgery unit block at Christchurch Hospital. Within the past 12 months, we've organised a workshop for service providers in the aged care sector to advise us what services that they feel need improvement and what needs priority. Within the past few months, we've also commissioned a successful survey of local residents aged 65 plus to obtain their feedback and satisfaction rating on a variety of social conditions and services within this ward. I believe you've all received a copy of the a report written by this Waihoro Spreydon-Cashmere-Heathcote Community Governance Manager commenting on the service results. Within the last 2 months, we have also met with Abraham Larson, the Community Development Advisor for Equity, Inclusion and Wellbeing from the Christchurch City Council, to discuss the survey results. Abraham has in turn spoken with Diane Turner, the Director of Office for Seniors, about the Christchurch City Council joining the age-friendly group, age-friendly network as a whole. This would mean that the council would be supported with resources and grants to enable this work. We understand that this proposal is under consideration with no clear decision. We are concerned that we are the only age-friendly group in the Christchurch City Council area, and with the limited numbers, we are asking the council for support in order to attract more members and groups to advocate for better facilities for aged residents across the broad spectrum of facilities that our council administers, examples including housing, mobility, socialisation and transport, to name some. We would also like to add that other councils in the Canterbury region, Waimakariri, Selwyn and Hurunui, have active age-friendly groups. We believe that the council needs to consider the group of residents aged 65 plus as the fastest growing sector in our community, and it is predicted that by 2035 they will comprise almost 20% of our population. The following figures predict this trend and were obtained from the Christchurch City Council website and Stats New Zealand. The Christchurch City website states that in 2035, Christchurch's total projected population will be approximately 430,000. The total population of 65 plus will be approximately 72,950, and the 85 plus population will be approximately 11,085. Statistics New Zealand has also provided statistics, but there is a variation. They say that the total projected population by 2035 in Christchurch will be 569,100. The population aged 65 plus will be approximately 94,166, and projected population of 85 plus will be approximately 13,311. These people will make a huge demand through their sheer numbers on the services that the council will provide, and we're asking the council now to carefully consider how they can advocate and plan for the needs of this population group. We feel very strongly that the issue needs your urgent attention and asking for your support to help expand the idea of age-friendly groups. We're asking the council to act now because ageing is hopefully a social situation that will affect us all directly or indirectly. To conclude, we would like to thank the Spreydon-Cashmere-Heathcote Community Board for their ongoing support, and to thank Councillor Melanie Coker for her support and encouragement she has given our group. Thank you. I'm quite happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate that. Any questions? I just had a question. Do you know if there has historically been a citywide age-friendly group at all?
No, we were the first.
The first. Okay, interesting. Right. Yeah.
The first one and only within the City Council area.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you. Mel.
It would be. I was thinking that we would have a dedicated staff member in town.
Yeah.
For this, because we've got a staff member who's dedicated to youth with child.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would make sense to have a complementary.
Yeah.
Role, and to bring in the odd benefit from the grants you can get to get work done. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Roy.
Are you looking to expand, as in have age-friendly in each of the wards, or?
Well, we'd just like to get some more people on board, and also to have across the various wards as well, and build a consistent group in various locations. Because I mean, ageing is spread across the whole community.
Just in terms of all the New Zealand centres, there's places like Hamilton that are far more advanced in terms of support networks and the actual resources to run it. So I think we're behind the 8 ball. So I think anything we can do to advocate
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything you've said today is spot on.
We actually have a thing of the local community group, age-friendly groups, so if anyone wants to have a look at it, the details of what the various financial area and that, etc. Wants to have a look at that. So,
Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, but if you wanted to pass it around the table, we could do that. Yeah. Question from you, Sarah?
I'm just wondering, what contact you have with other groups who connect older adults in the city, so like U3A and other groups like that, which seem to be doing quite well with one numbers, and what contact you have with them?
well, we ran a workshop and unfortunately the uptake wasn't, Laura will explain as their support part, there wasn't a lot of uptake from these people when we asked them would they come and join us. I mean, I think we started off with about 25 members originally in 2017 and it slowly, groups have fallen away. So, but it's such a, I mean, it's a grave tsunami that's happening. You know, so now's the time to act, to advocate and act for these people.
And there are a lot of small scale initiatives in all over the city, basically through churches, community cottages. They'll have a seniors morning.
Yeah.
They have a older person care person. But there doesn't seem to be a more coordinated citywide approach at researching what are the needs. How can the city support people aging well? At the moment, it's just tiny little pockets all over the city. Whereas in other cities, Auckland, for example, they have an age-friendly action plan strategy in place. They're huge. Hamilton, same thing. Nelson Marlborough as well. Waihoro community. The district is they're working on an age-friendly action plan. And there is a lot of support. At the moment, there's an age-friendly Aotearoa network, which is administered through the Office for Seniors, and they offer support and grants as well. So now it's sort of time for the city to.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, this is something we can definitely want to raise at our next board presentation to council. I think the work you've done here has been really amazing with the number of just volunteers and a small amount of funding. It's been managed to produce quite a lot. So yeah, I think definitely agree that a citywide network makes a lot of sense for lots of reasons.
As a consistent group.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
More people contributing makes it a much more effective advocacy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate you coming. Yeah. Okay. So next up we have Aaron Locke come to speak to us about the licence assignment request for the Stokes Surf School Tāpui Limited.
Kia ora. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. Thanks for all the hard work you do for our community. Donna Henderson.
Donna.
My name is Aaron Locke and I'm the owner of Leisure Surf in Sumner, one of the 2 licensed surf schools operating on this side. I've been running surfing lessons in Sumner for over 25 years. I feel very passionate about sport and about sharing it, especially the young people and those who may not otherwise have the opportunity to try surf. Our surf school offers lessons to a wide range of groups, including school programs, community groups and tourists. We're also involved in a number of mental health and surf therapy initiatives, such as Surf Aura and Surfing for Farmers, which use surfing as a tool to help improve children's mental health. We've got an enthusiastic team of young instructors who are not only skilled surfers but also passionate role models. And they bring a great energy to every lesson, especially working with the kids for schools and first time. So Leisure Surf currently operates under one of 2 commercial licences available in Sumner, and the second licence is currently held by Stokes Surf School, which is owned by Donna.
And they've run a high quality, respected operation from the Cave Rock area of some past 10 or 11 years. The owners of Stoke are now moving in a new direction, and I've made offer to take over their business. So today we're seeking community board approval to reassign the Stoke lease to my company so we can continue to operate this from the site. We plan to continue using the Stoke brand and keep the overall structure, branding and staffing the same. So the community, existing customers, the general public will probably notice not much difference at all. In fact, having both sides coordinated under one owner should bring a lot of benefits. It'll allow us to spread demand during the peak summer days, so hopefully reducing any overcrowding or congestion and improving safety between the two sites. It will also allow more consistent employment and training opportunities for our young talented team of instructors. So by giving your approval today and transferring the licence to an experienced and proven operator, we continue to offer a safe and consistent service at the Cave Rock site. So thanks for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions or personal concerns you might have.
Thank you. No questions. Roy.
It's not a question, but yeah, I just want to say thank you for, because I've taken kids out there and I know the kids, when they get changed, they just use your tents and stuff. When they're not meant to be, but we haven't kicked them out or anything. Just appreciate your experience and your generosity.
Yeah, cool.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, and appreciate you coming today as well to speak to us. So it's fairly straightforward, but I do appreciate you being here. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, next up, Tanya is going to speak to us about the shelter installation at well-used bus stops across our board area.
Sorry, I'm going to leave.
No worries. No worries. Thanks, Sarah.
While Sarah's here, did you want to just quickly jump to that item, because I don't think there's going to be any issues with that. And so Sarah and Tim could move in second. I don't. Okay.
Yeah, no, that'd be right. Yeah. Cool. So apologies. Yeah, the floor's yours whenever you're ready. Yeah. Did you have any slides or anything for us, or?
No,
no worries.
To be honest, I really don't need to speak unless there's anyone here that sort of wanted to challenge the council staff recommendation around the Mariner Street stop. If there wasn't, then I really don't need to speak, because I've done a full written submission.
Okay.
And I support the staff report on the bus stop issue.
Okay. Fantastic. No, thanks.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I've just one. So there's a report in there that you wrote.
So I've done it. Yeah, I've done quite an extensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a detailed written submission.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be in the appendix.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So thanks very much. Presentation of petitions. Yeah, no petitions. Correspondence. So we've got quite a lot of correspondence today, and I think after correspondence we might just have a wee break, if that's okay with the board, for a few minutes. I'm going to go through these one by one, and we can just, if you've got a particular suggestion for how I want to handle any of them, let me know as we go through. So the email from Rex and Jan Racetrack on Littleton Street parking issues. Happy to just refer that to staff for advice. Yep. Letter from Brian Anderson regarding parking restrictions on Richmond Hill Road. I think that's ongoing.
Yeah. I haven't met with them, and they'll be here next week, no doubt. So.
Yeah. So in terms of the correspondence, I'm sure we can just forward that on to staff to incorporate into there.
We know that this has been shared with staff.
Oh, it has been. Oh, excellent. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks. Sorry, didn't read that, but the letter from Hanno Sander from the Coastal Pathway Group around the Beachville signs. In regard to newly erected parking, this is the no parking signs. And there's the next one as well, from Pat McIntosh on the Red Cliffs Residents Association. Is on a similar, basically the same issue. Do you want to refer to? Yeah, well, both of them are basically pointing out the problem of the heights of the signs, among other things. Do we just want to request that staff lower the heights of the signs?
Yeah.
I think rather than referring for advice, just get to the point. Are we happy with that? Okay. And that's for both of those. I mean, yeah, for any other issues raised, we can refer that to staff as well within those correspondence. Lisa from Malcolm from the OHRN around Purdo Reserve Landscape Development Plan. Lee, did you ever?
Just, I know when we discussed this in the information centre, we probably didn't give a whole lot of direction to staff in reality. I think what Malcolm submitted is quite a considered approach, and I'd echo that. I think that's a good strategy. So just kind of maybe informally sounding that in the room if we think we can give that direction to staff.
Yeah. And formally, do we feel like we want to commend Malcolm's approach to the staff? Yeah.
I know that you've met with Ian. I've been approached by Ian, who's the new president of the Purau Friends of Purau. He's asked to meet, so you've already met him. So I've reached out to Kia and anyone else who's interested. So I'm trying to jack up a time and dates, and I'll come back to the chair and just because like Lee, I think the Power River Networks vision on Melbourne, it's a really good one. Yeah. But just keep in mind, it's been a sensitive issue for those locals, and so we do need to include them. And whether they feel that Malcolm and Quentin are local, I don't know, but let's just move forward carefully, but we'll invite anyone that wants to go.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So we want to refer that to staff for advice with the board's support for the overall approach. Yep. And then Willow Street parking issues. Helen Hardman, do we just want to refer for advice? Yep. Okay. Right, okay. No, that's good to know. And then the Anzac ceremony in Victoria Park. Yeah, just a thank you letter, so nothing to refer on there. All right.
Through the chair, so with items 3 and 4, with the signs that they're requesting to be lowered, can I just suggest, because obviously there may be sort of technical specifications around like heights and things. So if you request that they've lowered it, possible, otherwise report back to the board.
Yes.
Without advice rather than direct them.
Yep.
And then if not, they can at least give you the reason for why.
Yes, thank you. That's good advice. Yep.
Because it's 3 metres sustained.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a rule in a book somewhere.
Yeah, so Chris is about to throw something.
And while we're on correspondence, I know I just forwarded today a letter from the Reckless Residents Association saying we don't want to complain all the time. Congratulations, council staff, etc., for how well the rain is managed.
Oh, that's
excellent.
Improvements, etc.
Yeah, thanks.
So that will be.
Appreciate that.
You see that.
We'll definitely include that one on the agenda for sure. Thank you. Thanks, Tim. We don't need to move that, do we? We do. Oh. I move that we do everything that we just said we'd do. Mel's seconding that. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions, carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to take a few minutes?
Yep.
Reconvene at 10 past. 512. So first report is Mansour. You come to speak to us about the bus shelters.
Would you like us to present a summary of the report or just go to that?
I think brief summary would be helpful. Yeah.
Yes, great.
But brief, yeah.
Today's report is actually part of a 3-year project where we got 60 shelters funded by NZTA on reuse bus stops. 7 of those bus stops are in this report. And we have selected the reuse bus stops. With reuse, I mean the patronage per day, which we had the threshold traditionally established by CCC, around 20 a day. So these 7 were chosen, and we work on the design, fully in-house, and we engage on that with the affected residents. Regarding the funding agreement that we have with the NZTA, we must purchase those shelters before the end of June. And yes,
I'll do a little quick consultation summary for this one. So stakeholder engagement was focused consultation with affected tenants, owners, and key transport stakeholders, including emergency services, the AA, DPA, Orion, Paenga Ora, and some general advocate groups for transport. We showed each the detailed plans and provided a Clear and My Let's Talk link to a webpage explaining a little bit more detail about what types of shelters and bus stop upgrades we were planning for the area. We offered all affected parties on-site meetings, one of which happened on Nayland Street. And of the 7 stops that we consulted on in your area, 3 received, we received 3 somewhat supportive submissions and 6 not supportive, and just 1 general submission from the AA that was relatively supportive. Mariner Street, so 5 concerns were raised about for Mariner Street, leading to further consultation outside of 2 Mariner Street, which also drew concerns. It's a bit tricky. We also met with the resident at 122 Nayland Street, and we adjusted the plan to accommodate a grass berm, some line marking outside the driveway. And I think the placement of the tactile pavers was also looked at that meeting. After the discussion, the resident was pretty supportive of the revised plan. So it's just really that Mariner Street one that's a bit tricky, because it's like everyone wants a shelter until it's outside of the house.
So yeah, it's a really common issue. Yeah. Any questions from the board?
Well, yes. Question around Mariner. So there is a shelter just up the road, opposite the sewer pump. That's on the same route?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that not seen as efficient? I mean, it's great to have the funding and the new design looks awesome, but I just wonder, just that bit of footpath is quite narrow.
Yes.
And there's a couple of residents saying we don't want it here. I wonder, is it necessary?
Well, with the narrow footpaths, we have the option to install the slimline shelters. So we are like fine with that aspect. But about having a shelter in the next stop, generally the patronage will be a good index to have or not having the shelters, because the function of a shelter is to like serving to passengers. Based on the experience, if we post shelters on the low use bus stop, we are more likely to receive pushback from residents saying that like, no one's using. But as the South Nation shows, we didn't have such concern that the bus stop is used. So yeah, I think having a shelter in the next bus stop, I agree with the point that the bus stop spacing is not optimized along the corridor. That's it.
And it's nice and wide there, where it currently is, a lot of space.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of complaints about the drunk people on the weekend. We've got all that grass to plant.
Yeah. And I checked that patronage for the other bus stop, and that one is also really used. So about 31 per day, and this one is also really used more than 20.
But the two that are next to each other, both well used. The surf was 31.
Like
and the
about
Mariner-
like 200 meters,
Yeah.
something. Which, yeah, I agree that spacing is not optimized. But in such a local, when we install a shelter at the bus stop, we can also like go and improve the spacing. Spacing need a route-based project, because like relocating it bus stop will like frequently affect the spacing with the next stops. And we have a program. It's not just about this corridor. The spacing, we have problem across Christchurch, so it's something that we are working on to improve the spacing. And if in the future we come back to, for example, removing this bus stop, there is no harm to having a shelter there. The shelter is just bolted there, we unbolt it and use somewhere else.
Yeah, I just question whether it's the right spot for one.
I had a question from Mel.
Do we give the numbers on how many people get on the bus or pay it for now?
Yes, we have the report.
Well, okay, and did the people who use the bus get targeted with this consultation?
No, however, we ran a separate consultation as part of Way Safer Streets on the general, it was like, I think it was 50 or so bus stops proposed across Christchurch at the time. And we ran a general consultation on, you know, what would you like to see when we're improving bus stop infrastructure? So we were able to use some of those results from a couple of years ago to inform this program. We tend to find that when we ask a general, like citywide, we're doing all these great shelter upgrades, that we actually get a lot of support, but as soon as we have those conversations with affected residents, it gets into the nitty-gritty. We have also had quite a lot of interaction in that program with the Disabled Persons Assembly about different standards, about like how they would like to access the bus, so that's something that the team definitely.
Yeah.
And did they have any specific feedback on this particular?
Not this particular plan.
Okay. But so the people that use this would want the shelter.
Yeah, we kind of have in a roundabout way, but we don't tend to get really specific feedback.
Yeah, and from the experience of working with all the requests from PT across the city, I would say the shelter is the #1 request.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, just on the disabled access, are you saying, do you think there's enough room on that bit of footpath? Well, if you put a shelter and even a streamlined one,
yes,
to navigate with mobility equipment, even prams?
Yes, so the minimum requirement that we have to have is a 1.2 meter from the shelter to the care. And yes, so our default is to have 1 meter shelters. And if in any location we are not able to actually do that 1.2, we go with a slimline shelter. So yes, with a slimline shelter, we are able to actually do that.
Yeah.
And just a question of interest, how was the reception on Nayland Street when you had the get together? They were all.
We didn't, it was on,
Nayland
Nayland
Street.
Street, yeah, you're right. It was just one resident. We showed the plan, we talked about the dimensions of the bus stop and where it would be placed. Yeah, I think they were a little bit concerned before we met, just about why it was needed in the spot, when we explained the frequency and that we've chosen, you know, based on where we use bus stops. It was more of a conversation about if you're going to put it in, can you just make sure that there's a little bit of grass berm and the line marking covers the driveway, because that was the main sort of concerns there.
Am I right in when I look at the plan on that one, looks like a much larger area taken out than a lot of the like Colombo
For the
Street.
hard stand area.
And then now for the
yellow line.
Yeah. That's because of the location of this bus stop.
Because it's near
the corner, and the buses want to like turn and swing the bus stop. We normally try to keep like 12 meters. Here we have a little bit longer, but in general terms of like losing parking spaces, I can say it's not very far from a normal case that we paint on Marcos stop. And that's because the bus stop itself, the bus box, is already integrated with the railway. So it's benefit. And also the no stopping restriction after box which is needed is also integrated with another railway. So yeah, the reason for that being longer is because it goes through.
We just don't want to take our turn parts for the service school down the back.
Mel,
I've just wanted to.
you gonna move it? Cool. Do you have a seconder? Tim? All right. We can move to debate if there's any interest in that or discussion.
I visited before in the Kashmir ward.
You can sit back, sorry.
I thought the logical one is my old one from being a kid. So I always wondered if it might never had a shelter because we also got rained on. So it's great. So cool.
Thanks. Yep. Anyone else?
I would still question the need for that one on Mariner, considering there's one only 100 metres up the roads. That would be my only
requirement
not to support.
Okay.
It's great to have the funding for them, but question the validity of that one.
Okay. Mel?
Just ideally, in my opinion, every bus stop should have a shelter, and then we encourage more people to use the bus. So there's been patches, there's high numbers of people using it, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and the number 3 route is one of the busiest in Christchurch, very heavily used, and more people use buses.
Thanks, Tim. All right. Sorry, Mel, I should have called you first. But all those in favour? Aye. Against?
Yep.
1. Abstentions? Carried. Right. Thanks all. Cheers.
We'll just like it against the one stop or the whole report.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can note.
Did you want to note just against the one? Yeah, we'll note that, yeah.
And we'll note Lee's declaration as well.
Yes, Lee's declaration, yes, thank you. Thank you, Chris, keeping us on the straight and narrow.
Sorry.
No, it's very helpful.
We're so
I'll be lost. Yeah. Kaiwara Street. Nick, come talk to us about that.
This is a very minor no stopping line report on Kaiwara Street in Cashmere.
Happy to move it when the time comes. Sorry.
All right. Any questions? One question from Tim.
Yeah, like really pleased that you listened to the reducing from the 9 metres to the 3. Because there's an early learning centre just around the corner on Cash. Did you talk to them at all? Because I know that a lot of their customers do park on the side street to move their children so to get off the main road.
Yeah, that was actually identified in consultation from one of the residents. They did mention that early childhood centre, but no, we didn't actually talk to them, given.
But I think reducing it from the 9 to the 3 really.
Yeah.
Cool. No, thank you.
All right. Well, he's moving. Got a seconder? Mel's going to second. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Abstentions? Carried. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. License assignment request. Grant.
Just admitting him now.
Oh, he's online. Cool. All right, Grant, can you hear us?
Might be on mute.
Might be on mute.
I did get a text from someone from Tina saying that she'd lost sound. We want to go from Tina Law.
Oh, yeah, it should be back on.
Okay, so
I'll just good. The press are watching.
Yeah. Well, lucky I got my hair cut.
Okay. In the meantime, I might ask Ruby. Do you want to come speak about the Heathcote River planting, restoration planting?
Kia ora everyone. As you'll be aware, there will be plenty of wonderful volunteers planting along the Waihoro. As you'll also be aware, based on one of Toby's recent presentations to the board, there's a spatial planting plan being developed for the work on Yawa. The plan is still in draft form, so at this stage we've had some initial feedback from the OHRN, and there's plans for further implementation to happen over the next couple of months. Once any feedback has been incorporated into the plan, be brought back to the board for consideration. And if at that time the board chooses to approve the plan, that will also involve approving more areas for groups to plant growing into the future. In the interest of, at the moment, enabling our very motivated volunteers to get underway with the Mahi plan for this season, we're going to come to you with the existing process of bringing specific sites for your consideration for approval for planting. In some cases, groups this year will be infilling areas, but the 4 groups that are identified in the report are ready to expand their planting sites. So just to note too that although the spatial planting plan is still just in a draft form, it's definitely been considered when proposing these sites, as has the feedback that we've already received from the OHRN. And both of these things will guide any planting that we do this year, including the information like underground services, other uses of the reserves, sightlines. So yes, all of that has already been considered and will be going forward too.
Excellent, thanks. It sounds like you've struck the right balance between planning and action. So yeah, Tim.
And some of these, you would imagine that the planting wouldn't affect too much with regards to like Fifield at the end of York Street, etc. It's quite steep, and you actually walk on the other side of the road. But I have had and brought it to the board where generally elderly people are seeing the planting and are concerned of its height to cut the view of, or their view from the river, because they're unable to leave the path. So I just wonder, that's one. The other one is it being also planted with the view of the nesting of the native ducks, because our native ducks, as I understand it, has been explained to me, because I am no ornithologist, that won't be a surprise to anyone. So our native ducks love the rough and the shrubbery, whereas European ducks like the nice mowed lawn, going to cricket. So I'm just wondering those 2 questions from me.
Yes, so in terms of I'll start with the ducks. Certainly in terms of the plant choices, the number of grasses and that we've got planned this year, as well as some shrubs and some tall stuff. So certainly our native ducks, I think, quite pleased with what we've got planned. One of the other things that has fed into the draft plan at this stage is definitely sightlines and some pretty solid view shafts. Also some areas where just planting is not super appropriate, or higher planting is not appropriate, and it's only going to be low planting. Right. And one of the considerations for that is being able to view the river from the pathways.
Right, thank you. I think it's great, but the other 2 concerns are cool. Thank you.
So we're still following the same process that we're going out with the draft. We just pulled this forward behind.
Cool.
Thanks, Chair.
I'm happy to move.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to second.
Please can second. All those in favour? Aye. Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, yes, and we'll note that Tim abstained due to conflict. Yeah. Yeah, you forget when you're rattling against the carried. You've got to be quick. Okay, did Grant hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. All right.
Fantastic. Great. Kia ora, everyone. My apologies for not being able to be there tonight. So I just, I wanted to take my report as read. I really appreciate Aaron and Donna actually providing a deputation earlier on. I've been following the meeting. So if you've got any questions or any clarifications, otherwise we just see this as a pretty simple leasing operational matter.
That's great. Any questions from the board? No. Will's going to move. Tim's going to second. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for what you do too.
Thanks for your patience.
Interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Good on you.
So DRF. So we're looking at funding now for.
Have we got one more?
Oh, I missed. No. Oh, no. Braden, you come to speak at the area report. Yeah. Sorry, Heather. Yeah.
I've been looking forward to it.
Pound the table. Demand some answers. Yeah.
So I'm presenting 2 here, one from my colleague as a lead, and one which I've done myself, and take both of them as read and happy to take any questions.
Yeah. Yeah, Noel's going to move. I will second. Oh, the question from Lee.
Just in terms of the website upgrade, do we, because there's organisations like COGS, do we try and encourage organisations to maybe try a different pathway first, just in case I'm not saying we're the soft.
Not first. It's so most any community group will have a funding calendar which they would do for a year and look at where they feel is the most appropriate one to put in for a particular application. And it could be that COGS has been used for something else.
Okay.
So that is very much the discretion of the group.
Okay. No, thank you for that.
Thanks. It's got a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried.
Thank you very much.
Is that for both? Is that
no, we have I was talking about just the community garden. So
I did them both at the same time. I apologise.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
I thought you'd been just very efficient.
Any questions on the Mount Pleasant Memorial Community Centre and Residents Association one?
It's the printing.
The printing one.
It's a one on the screen.
Yeah. I'll move.
Second.
We'll second. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thank you, Heather. And we now move to the area report. So Jess is away.
Yeah,
is it you,
so we've
JJ?
got the area report and Spreydon.
Cool.
So Spreydon project manager for Makihi. We've provided a written update in the area report on Makihi, but Braden's here.
Yeah, so every couple of months, and so here I am. Informal nature. If you want to have any feedback, give a 2 cents worth of an update of what we're up to, if you would like that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Braden. Got a question from Lee.
It was just around. I think it's still called Hunter Terrace. So the road does, because there is some reliance on it from the Cashmere Club and of the weekend as well. So just trying to get a feel for durations or some of the complexities that can deal with the project in terms of closures, not closures, and timeframes really.
Yeah, so I guess at the moment we're bedding down for the longer term. In short, I guess it's the weighing up of heavy vehicle movements, public pedestrians, and just worker movements as well. Just mainly focusing on the health and safety of managing that site, and trying to take away some of that pressure off the roading network as well. Car parking on Colombo Street, car parking on Hunter Terrace. So we're providing a lot of the subcontracted parking out the back, the distribution centre and the yard. So we're trying to kind of be an all-inclusive site, which kind of requires us to maintain that road with a fair bit of control for the health and safety elements. So certainly we're looking at the moment going, can we release that over the weekend? The market, but then you're constantly changing, which confuses a lot of people. So very, very keen to get more feedback, but at the moment we're getting down for the long term, just for this health and safety just control. That piece there.
Right, okay. Well, if we're meeting every couple of months, I think we can just see how this is going and okay.
In terms of just general feedback, you will see we're fully on site. You start seeing scrum start showing up on site to find the area a little bit. The digger showed up this week, so in this week or so we'll start seeing the deconstruction occurring proper. A lot of the internal salvage has been completed. Lots of community groups receiving lots of items, and the bluestone removal is almost complete as well, which has been taken off site to the subcontractor's yard, ready to be cut up and reused until that.
Cool. Tim,
just with the market, are you guys in constant or not constant, but good discussions with them about what may not have worked and what will work, and just so I mean it's a moving piece, it's a living thing. So
correct. So I received a phone call from Dave on Tuesday. So with some feedback around the traffic management, the cones, what have you, to access the yard area that we're providing. So we're going to trial another solution this weekend. I think it will just have to be an iterative process in the short term as well.
So I guess the only ongoing concern will be disabled access, because we do have a number of elderly and disabled going through the main. And I know it's a really hard, but if we could just keep a focus on that and just concentrate on that would be really good, because the rest of us can skip there if we need to. Thank you. And thanks very much for just keeping in contact. It's really good.
That's right. I'm sure I'll get a bit more appreciative as I come through. I'll take the honeymoon period while I can.
Thanks, Braden. Any other questions for the board for Braden or for the area report more generally? No. I'll move that we accept the area report. I'm seconding. All those in favour? Aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thanks. Cheers. Cheers, Braden.
We'll try to get some curly ones here next time.
Cool. Elected members exchange. Does anybody have any particularly burning issues? Want to kick us off?
Tim? Just with staff, when I meet, or whoever wants to, with Ian with regards to the per hour, Friends of Per Hour, just who do you think should be there from the board, as in staff? Because it would be good to have that continuous connection. So I know Ruby will be wanting to will have to be part of it as the community ranger, but yeah, whoever wants to be there. I know you've already met with Ian, so you'll be fully aware of it. So I was just, so I was going to reach out to Kia, but yeah, so.
Yeah,
so this is the new coordinator, volunteer coordinator.
Yeah,
for Per Hour Reserve.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of. Yeah, it's been a sensitive issue, and so Bronwyn's walked away from it, and which is quite understandable. So I just really want to know that when we go forward, that it's as kind of one team, and we've got to be kind of.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's all I got.
Thanks, Tim.
And obviously Amy, etc. But yeah.
I think I mentioned it in the last meeting, but I did go to Bill Woods' memorial on the 28th.
Oh, good.
I learned a lot about, so Bill, our interlinked relationship with Bill was through Summit Road Society and the Port Hills Trust. So I can't think of a single person that's contributed as much to the Port Hills in terms of making sure they're available to the public in terms of the Lindenwood Reserve. It is extraordinary, but I did learn some small quirks that he actually came here from Auckland as a locomotive driver at 21, so that would have been quite remarkable at his age to have that position and that kudos, that role at that age. So I mean, it's just such he's just a hero to me. Personally, I wish I'd spent more time with him in many ways. So, but I just wanted to say that it was a good memorial for him, and I learned a lot about him. So,
that's fantastic. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers. Appreciate that. Well.
Oh, just a bit of a shout out. I mentioned last time we were here, there was some area of Heathcote Domain around the residence there at it's the age facility. I forget the name of it. It's got a historic name. Boiler something. The over 60 community. Anyway.
Maltworks.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, Maltworks.
Maltworks, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nothing with boiler. Anyway, they finally cleaned it all up for them. So well done.
Cool.
It works, the process.
Excellent.
Got there in the end.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Now, did you?
I want to say thank you to Lee for running the Anzac Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it went really well. Because I put them on Facebook, we're back to the usual.
That's the magic ingredient.
Attendees, it really helped a lot. And I found one of the graves, and I need to find out where the other one is, because we could actually walk and read the name of one of the persons that have been read, people that have been read out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Around, but you can just actually find out apparently.
Well, right.
And then, so that was good, thanks, Lee. And I met with a woman who has got a new charitable trust called One Special Day, and I've been trying to sort of connect her up with things. It's about she gets funding or tries to purchase presents for children for birthdays, because it's sort of something that's missed. And she's in Usually Street. She's just started that with her daughter, and they get, it sounds pretty cool, so I sort of connected it with things. So and then the other one is just about the Grange Street water pipes. I've just had a similar one with Rahira Street, and it was loud voice of complaint has managed to get some repairs happening that, 1 week was like, this isn't going to happen for years, next week is something happening quick. it's an interesting process by which you get pipes replaced for water.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mel.
it's good in result.
All good?
I was at the Hune Network meeting and the community patrol were there.
Oh, cool.
And they were just, they're noticing, like, even the last time, they just, a concern of theirs was that Tankerville Mathers Road.
Oh, yeah.
Section with kids crossing over.
Okay.
And how it's just a bit of a mess because you got people turning into Tankerville, coming down Mathers and kids cutting through the park.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a concern.
I imagine the traffic will be exacerbated by the roadworks on Horswell Road too, because it'll be like an alternative route.
And the buses also park there because I found this bus driver and told me about this.
Okay.
He has to park on Mavis Road and they all have to trades down instead of parking for the school.
Oh, gosh, okay, yeah.
I don't know what we can do.
Okay.
In the school, parking signs down just from the park.
Yeah.
So parents can pick up their kids from there.
Yeah.
But still, it's a mess.
Yeah, if you encourage people to come to the board if they've got sort of issues around that, like it'll be good to hear from people.
Well, even in writing out.
Yeah, even correspondence. Yeah, true.
Because it's the easiest.
True. Yeah. Well, thanks, Roy. I've got no update from me today. Should we finish with karakia?
I think we should mention the work that was done by the staff over during the rain. I think that was outstanding. I saw a couple of them, and they worked out that it was every 3 hours they had to keep opening this because of all the leaves and everything. And it's pissing it. So, they do a bloody good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Just a reminder for everyone as well, submission on the draft alcohol policy. So we've circulated that and that's got to be in by tomorrow, Friday. That was me and Roy at that meeting, and Tim, you briefly appeared for about 10 seconds. So
I was in my office and I have a remote connection to provide internet to my office.
Yeah.
And nothing was working. I could hardly log in. So I bowed out. And then I found that the remote thing had dropped on the floor ahead of my desk, and I picked it up, put it on my desk again, and in doing so I had unplugged it. Very embarrassing.
Oh, Tim.
Well. Yeah, the power cut just as it was.
Oh, thank you for being so vulnerable to share that.
Yeah, I was actually in a live stream for a global kind of board meeting, and I don't even know how I got invited to it, but I did. I was sitting there, but when it started, all these bigwigs in Glasgow and London, and there was no sound.
Oh, no.
I was going, yes, it happens to everybody.
So yeah, just that back to alcohol policy. Just at a high level, we've just supported the proposed policies. So yeah. And next info session on the 29th is going to be involving both Richmond Hill Road and the Christchurch Yacht Club. So it's going to be a big one.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So bring what?
Bring a bulletproof vest.
Yeah. I wish it wasn't.
All right, me karakia tātou. Tukuna te Waihoro kia rere ki te taumata ko te matatika te mata pono hei arahi amahi ka arotahi te tira kia ke panuku kia ke tangaroa. Hoi me e ui e tāai ki e.